12 years ago, my only son and I moved out of our apartment and into a big house. At the time, my son was only 3 years old. The house was a bit old, but in good condition. The lighting was dim, so I often relied on candles. A week after moving in, my sister came to visit and congratulate me on the new house. I welcomed her warmly, offered her a drink, and insisted she have dinner and spend the night with us. But suddenly, I noticed she seemed uneasy. Her gaze was fixed on a particular room, and she wasn't paying attention to me. Her eyes widened with fear and anxiety, and she told me she had to leave immediately. I asked her what was wrong, but she refused to explain. Her strange reaction scared me. I followed her to the door and begged her to tell me what was going on. She looked at me and said just one sentence: "This house is haunted." She didn't explain what she saw, got into her car, and drove away, leaving me confused and with countless thoughts running through my mind. That night passed without any strange incidents. However, a week later, my son came to my room saying he had seen an old woman in the bathroom. I went to check to reassure him and to prove there was nothing there. But I won't lie, I was anxious myself. One day, while heading to work, I realized I had forgotten some important documents in the house. I got out of the car and went back inside. As soon as I opened the door, I saw a picture frame on the wall shaking violently. Suddenly, it flew off the wall and landed on a table far from its original position, as if someone had thrown it. This made me start to feel there was, indeed, something unnatural about the house. My sister's words echoed in my mind. This house is haunted. I left for work, but couldn't shake the feeling that the house wasn't safe to leave a small child in. I stayed in that house for 3 months. One day, I accidentally discovered a strange square in the floor at the house's entrance. It didn't have a handle, but I managed to open it. Beneath it was a large hole with a staircase leading down, a hidden secret in the house I felt compelled to uncover. I descended the stairs and found myself in a long tunnel made of rocks, resembling a mine. It was pitch black, so I used a flashlight. At the end of the tunnel, I saw a large rock resembling those on graves, with strange symbols carved on it. Suddenly, a swarm of insects emerged from behind the rock, and I ran out in fear. I climbed back up the stairs, closed the wooden hatch, and never returned to that place. Still, I didn't decide to leave the house. One night, after turning off the bedside lamp and getting ready for sleep, I heard the sound of my bedroom door opening and someone entering. I could hear footsteps approaching my bed. I didn't initially think it was strange, because the entire floor was covered in carpet. But then, I felt two hands touch my back. I immediately assumed it was my son. I asked him what he needed, but he didn't reply. I got up and looked around the room, but my son wasn't there. I was alone. I rushed to his room and found him sound asleep in his bed. That night, I couldn't stay any longer. I packed my belongings, took my son, and booked a hotel until I could find a new place to live. We drove away and never looked back.